in the topic, so let's start and understood the concept. Okay, so guys, whenever we have earlier we created the virtual machines, let's showing you. While we are creating the virtual machines, we are with this options, this options availability zone, right? With this options we are actually selecting none. Availability options we are selecting none, right? So today we will understood what is availability zone and availability set. Okay. So let's you already know the Microsoft region, like Central US, like West US, like West Europe, East Europe. So it's called the region, right? So each region Microsoft have 3 data center. Each region Microsoft have 3 data center. Okay, so in these 3 data centers, for each region Microsoft provide the high availability solutions. Now if you in the concept of availability zone, okay, so if you select there is no availability zone, then in case of any maintenance from Microsoft, let's say patch installations, let's say any schedule downtime or any unscheduled downtime, so in that case you do not make the power downtime for this servers. The server will not be active, it will be down that time, so your business will be down. If you choose the availability zone options, then what does it mean? That means this 3 data center, your virtual machines will be created in between 3 data center. Okay, so if you select availability zone 1, then in only one single data centers, one single data center it will be available. In case this data center is fault, having any problem, you will not get a high availability solution. If you select availability zone 2, then your machine will be available in these 2 data centers. Okay, if you choose availability zone 3, then means, let's say it is a zone zone for East US. In East US region, your virtual machines is if you set this availability zone 3, that means every data centers, every zone they have a 3 data center. In 3 data center your virtual machines was created, and it is created, that means whenever you will update any kind of update, downgrade anything, that all are updated 3 machines at a time. So now what happened, in case this data center is down, this data center is down, it will be up. So it is costly solutions. When you are choosing this available zone options, it will be now charging will be more high. So in that case, 1 will be the more costly, less costly, 2 will be the bit costly, and it is a super costly. So if you need that availability in your virtual machines, so the zone will be, you have to increase that way. Now understood the availability set. While create these machines, let's say you are creating these options US, East Central US, let's say I'm just telling that East Asia or just a minute, East US. In East US there is an option availability zone. Now availability zone, if you select availability zone, you will see there is a 2 options, 1, 2, 3. Now if you select 1 options, that means every region there is a 3 data center, as I told. Now if you select the virtual machine 1, then virtual machine will be available on this zone. If you select 2, then virtual machine available on these two data center. If you select 3, that means your virtual machines available on 3 data center. Now we understood availability set. What do you mean by the availability set? So generally, while the availability set you have to define, you have to create the availability set. Now if I click on that, then let's say name is AVL, whatever, you will see there fault domain and update domain. What does it mean? It means, you understood the availability zone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Now, if you understood the availability zone, then availability set is very easier for you. Then, let's say the concept is availability zone means its concept related to the data center levels. That means, if I set the zone, let's East US, Central US, every region they have a 3 data center, as I told earlier. Again I'm telling. Okay. So availability zone only from that level. And in terms of availability sets inside on data centers. Let's say this is a data center, and this data center you have a rack 1, a rack 2 and rack 3. Okay. Now every rack there is a blade, 1 blade, 2 blade, 3 blade, 1 blade, 2 blade, 3 blade, 4 blade, 1 blade, 2 blade, 3 blade, 4 blade. Okay. So here in terms of availability zone set, fault domain means the rack, RAC 1, RAC 2, RAC 3. So the rack means it's rack 1, rack 2, rack 3. So this is actually fault domain. That means you see you can define at least 3 fault domain and 20 update domain. That means 1, 2, 3 fault domain, rack 1, rack 2, rack 3 fault domain, and inside the fault domain the machine, the server, it's called the update domain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 20 machines, it's called the update domain, right? Now if you select that much, that means you are actually going for very high availability solutions. Okay. So generally what will be the default, that this will be the default value. That means 2 update domain and 4 fault domain, 2 fault domain and 2 update domain. So what happened actually, your any kind of maintenance, maybe scheduled patch management, let's say any hardware failure or any schedule maintenance, if they are going to stop this rack 1, so the other rack 2 virtual machine working, let's say this machine, this rack also maybe hardware failure, your machine also available on rack 3. This is actually defined whenever you will go and contract for the Microsoft Cloud contract part. So this is also defined from there. So if you not select any virtual machine availability zone or availability sets, any kind of maintenance or probably any problem, your virtual machine will not be available that time. Once you create the virtual machines and you have not defined that availability zone or availability set that time, later on you will not be able to update that part. Again you have to delete these machines and again you have to create, and then that time you have to define this availability zone and availability set. Clear or not? Is that clear or not?
Yes, clear.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now if anyone asks you in the interview, what do you mean by availability zone and availability set, then what is your answer? Bhupinder, what is your answer?
In each availability node, we have a 3 data center, Okay.
Okay.
And okay. And for availability set, we can say in every rack. For availability set, we can say we have fault domain and URI domain. Is it
Okay.
correct?
Understood. Just a minute for your information. Simple answer I'm telling you. For availability zone, it's related to data center level within a zone. First question, first answer. Availability zone means it's within a region. Same region with different data center level. And availability set is inside a data center rack level. So availability zone, as in every Microsoft zone, have three dependent data centers. Okay. So now if I select the availability zone options, that means availability zone 1, 2 and 3. Now if I select my virtual machine availability zone 1, that means my virtual machines by default is on one data center and there is no meaning to set availability zone 1. Meaning is same. Now if I choose the availability zone 2, then my virtual machines can available within a region 2 different data centers, and 3 different data centers. Whereas availability set means my virtual machines available any of the data center within a different multiple racks. Now each racks is considered here as what do you say, availability of fault domains, and each machine inside that rack, it's called the update domain. Clear?
So these racks are interconnected from the network, correct?
Definitely. If this not interconnected, how come they will work?
Okay.
It's a very conceptual question. It's very common in the Azure interview. Okay.
Yes, and one more thing. If we are not defining any availability zone, then by default VM is created in one of the data center.
Okay, for your information guys, I'm telling you one thing. Microsoft always provide 99% SLA. That means if your virtual machine is running, it has been tested. If your virtual machine running 365 continuously, now at the day of 365, you will see that number of machine shutdown is 0.1% without availability zone, availability set. By default, Microsoft SLA is very smoother than AWS and Google. But still, on top of that, some company like where mission critical applications running and they need high availability for this application, they are going to that particular solutions. This is the feature of this virtual machines and all. Why I'm telling these options now? Because we learned the load balancer today, then this option is required. Clear?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so now my next topic is NSG, network security groups. So basically, what do you mean by the network security groups? Many of us nowadays are staying in our flats or living complex. Now even living complex, we have a security guard, security room is there inside. Now these security guards, what they actually do, they are keep track of every inbound and outbound people. Let's say any of the inbound from these living premises, he tag maintain that the person is leaving at 8 p.m. and he'll come back at 11:30. Same wise, one person coming from outside at 11 p.m. and he's leaving at 1 p.m. To whom he meet, that person name. To which flat, that flat number. So that anything problem happen, let's say anyone murder in this flat or anyone something may be wrong. So everything investigation come on top of this security nodes. And that is why they have implemented security guards here. So same thing, NSG, network security groups, actually invented to filter out the data. As you know, we have a two direction of connection, inbound and outbound, right? So inbound connections and outbound connection, let's say these are the machines, have many of the networks are connected over the cloud. Now if you do not filter out the all ports, any one your machine can be hacked. This is a part of security concern. So whenever you are assigning the NSG, by default it will deny all packets. All packets. He will not supposed to accept any connection. Even you cannot do the RDP as well. Later on you have to add this options, then only NSG will work. Okay. So you can apply the NSG on subnet level, or you can apply this NSG on network card level. Now I'm telling you, you create a one NSG, by default NSG, nothing. I mean just create a new NSG. Now if you add this NSG to the subnet level, then it is only applicable for one particular machines. If you add this NSG on the NIC card level, NIC level, that means VMNet level, under this VMNet all the virtual machine will be impacted, right? So basically network security groups is here to filter out the data. Let's do have some practicals and understood the concept. So generally this is my virtual machine. So let's create one virtual machines and then we'll understand. So creating the resource RG1, VM-01. I'm creating on East US. Okay. No availability sets. Okay, availability sets. Because I need a practical. That's why. Okay, fine. I'm doing on availability sets and creating on AVL. Creating on availability sets. That options. Which options I will select? Windows Server 2000 R2 editions. Size, this is one, and my username is root admin. Nothing you need to do. Subnet, you have created one subnet by default. Okay, it's a new default, new subnet you have created. Public difference. Validation fails. Where is the problems? Where this problem happened? Okay. Fault domain count is null. So two. Did you understand what the problem happened?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. One machine was created and I want to create another machine as well. It's creating fine. I'm creating another machine in the same subnet and same RG resource groups. RG1, it's VM 02. Availability set same availability set I've selected. Okay, and 2012 R2, root admin, now it will take time as usual.
Click on create.
Sorry, oh, click on create.
Deployment complete.
Perfect. Let's see. Virtual machine deployment completed. Perfect. Now, as we have created NIC card, VMnet automatically. So if I go to there, we can see that our VMnet virtual networks. There is one RG VM networks, and this VM networks is attached with two devices, VMnet 01 and another one VMnet 02. This is a network interface. Okay. So now if I go to this here, there is no RG was configured, right? So same way, if I go to the virtual machines, by default this virtual machines we can connect RDP Is this machine not start? No, it's running. Connect. Why it is showing? Means that machine having some problems. Okay, now you see normally you can take the RDP, right? But whenever I attach the NSG with this machine subnet or NIC card, I mean VMnet will not be able to RDP that server. But before that I have to make sure my another machines also work. Public, private, public. It's working. Maybe sometime it's not working anyway. Root admin. So it is by default taking RDP. Fine, perfect. Now what I need to do, I'll create network security group. Okay. So here RG1 already VM01 have an NSG. If you go on options, it is automatically created. Okay. Now see, it is allowing by default allowing, because nowadays Microsoft have latest updates. Microsoft had latest updates. Whenever you are creating virtual machines, NSG will automatically create it. Okay, earlier there was no. The NSG you have to attach. Now you can see the NSG was created and it is attached with, if you go to the network interface, it is attached with VMnet level. Okay, that means associated with VM level. If you click on associate, so here this is already associate. If you go to the just a minute, so let's go to the virtual machines. After that, networking. Now see here, the network level, it is attached. Now it is a VM01 NSG, because nowadays Microsoft, whenever any virtual machine will create, the NSG will automatically create, and by default it is allowing RDP, VNet bond, all those stuffs is by default it allowing. Okay, see, deny all inbound. So which port? This particular port, it is actually, I mean, priority, deny all inbound. This is actually they are denying. Okay. So now what happened? If you select these options by default, or if you click on these options and source port deny, you just make it deny, what will happen? You will not be able to do the RDP. I'm done. Which machine? VM01. So probably if I go to the VM machines and connect this one, will not be able to do, because NSG you have defined, because in many secure servers you don't need that public can take the RDP over this private connections. So if you denied that person, denied that rule from the NSG level, no one can take the RDP. Clear? This is actually part of Azure security, but I'm telling you for your knowledge actually. Is that clear?
Yes, yes.
So same way you have to enable it. So I am doing another practicals. What is the practicals? So let's understand the practical first. Here I have a one machines, VMnet 1 and VMnet 2. VM1 and VM2. Middle of that there is a jump server. Now from this machine to this machine you cannot do the RDP, but from this machine to this machine you can do the RDP, right? So how we can implement through NSG? Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, go ahead.
Perfect. So I am doing that part only. So for that only I have already two machines are there. Normally it's work. So I need one more virtual machines called the jump server. Okay. So let's add virtual machines. Same RG1. Jump box. Jump server. Okay. And this time I am not taking this on any availability zones, because this is my jump box, no need. Or let's see, I'll add in here, no problem. Availability sets, same availability sets.
You create?
No, I'm just checking 16.653 INR. Did you see? So first two machines, I mean whenever we have created without availability set, the cost is 9. Now it is, the cost is 16.653 INR per hour.
Correct.
So the cost is increasing. Now Microsoft done very fast modification, because these virtual machines are creating very fast. Earlier it is taking too time. Keep on their upgrading actually. Perfect. So my virtual machine is created. Now, as per this concept, VM01, the connection between VM1, no one can take RDP from VM01 to VM02 or VM02 to VM01. Both can take RDP from Jumpbox to VM01 and Jumpbox to VM02, right? So now we will edit that, NSG accordingly. Clear? Okay. So first, we have the network security groups. I have to go network security groups, and this network security groups, we have a 3 networks boxes. So I am going to but before that I have to take the RDP, because virtual machine IP address. So I have to write down this virtual machine IP address. So first go to that servers. What is the IP address? 10.10.10.0.4. I will make it a note, and then and public IP as well. Public IP as well. Same wise, Jumpbox. Perfect. So now I'm going to network security groups. Now in VMnet ones, I'm going to it. As I told, from VMnet 1, if I click on, now here it is showing source. Source here it is saying any. So you have to put the IP address. Which IP address? source IP address. Source IP address is what? That means my 00 control C. And source port, whatever it is. Destination IP address. What is the destination IP address? That is 005. And which you are blocking? 3389, that is an RDP. What action? Deny. Click on save. So the same way I have to go jump server 2. From here, instead of any, you have to select IP address. There is an option, service tags, application security groups, any option you have to do instead of this. So IP address. And so what is the second machine's IP address? That means 10005. Source port range like that. Destination IP address, and destination IP address is okay. This is you are securing from internal IP address. I'm telling you, from inside of the server you are actually doing. Okay, perfect.
Also, we need to click on deny now.
Sorry. Oh,
Do deny.
sorry. Let me save it, then I will deny it. No problem. Denial. Yes. Then fine, no problems. So same way, from two source port it's like, and destination port it's like RDP is banned. So the same wise, if I go to the VMnet 01, I can see source port and destination port, it's banned. 3389, it's banned. Okay, perfect. Now any of the servers I do the RDP. Maybe what happened?
You will not be able to create another one.
Sorry. No. Yeah. So in that case, I'm going to jump server 1. Admin. Now from here I will try to RDP 004. Let's see it will work or not. Yes guys, it's working. Clear? it's working. But okay, let's put it open, and another server I'm trying to open, MSTSC, that is 005. It's working fine. That means as per my diagram I can take RDP from jump box. So it is my jump box, jump server. From jump server I can connect VMnet 0, VM01, VM02. It's fine. Now I will take RDP from this to this. Let's, from VM05 I'll took the RDP. .004. Generally it will not allow us. 10.0, what will be the IP? 10.0.0.4. Okay. Got it. The problem I understood. If I do the so what that means, remote desktop services session has ended. Okay. It's working. That means problem in the NSG. Let's check one more time what happened.
Yeah, Director.
Yes.
Look, in this particular source is 4 and decision 5. We are doing the same for the answer also. That's why it's getting so.
You are not getting what you are telling.
Yeah, the source address is 0.4, right? And destination is 0.5.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So for another server, it will be source will be 0.5 and destination will be 0.4.
Just a minute. So first I'm opening this. Okay, I'm only opening another Azure portal here. Source to, from 4 to 05 it's banned. From 5 to 04 is banned. What is the problem?
It's okay.
One question from my side. If there is a multiple servers, so how can we specify the multiple IPs in a destination or source one?
Yeah, in that case you have to provide the ranges. In that case you have to provide the ranges, So from ranges here options, from this to this.
Okay.
Okay. So source is actually 10.00004, destination is 4, TCP denied action, but still it is working. Destination port range is 3389. Let's change the priority to 100 or 100 RDP. Source port range, source port IP address. Three 89. Yes, that is the problem actually happened, because I forget to mention the IP address, this options. Okay, that is why it's not working. Okay, it is on VMnet 2 in SG. So same I have to go VMnet 1 in SG. Three 389. Probably it will work now. Now I have logged in 3004 5 servers. From here I am trying to MSTSC 004. Okay. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yes.
Access denied. So the same ways I'll try to connect 10.004. Okay, so any question from your side?
No.
Saurav? Any question? Any question? Hello?
No, from my side there is no question.
Perfect. Then I am moving to the next practical, this load balancer. So before that I just make this port up. Let's say define source to any. and the second NSG groups. Okay, fine, that's good. Now, why it's still deny of? Now I'll take RDP on its servers and make sure my VM is now remoting. Okay. Perfect. So let's go to the virtual machines. Now I'll take the RDP. Let's see it's working or not.
You have to allow RTP. I think here also you have selected the deny option.
Sorry.
Go back to the NSG. Down. Try again. I think it will take some time to update.
Yes, it is taking time. You're right. So generally, see, as I told now, the NSG is denying all packets by default, and you cannot delete these options. Later on, these options are Microsoft ad hoc created, which there is options. This option you will not give. Only this option
Yeah,
you will delete it.
if I want to create any new policy, the inbound outbound rule,
Yeah, you can do it.
then what's
Okay, then go to the inbound security
if I
rules.
would like to add any other rule,
Yeah, that's what I'm
it
telling
may be
you.
inbound.
Go to the, let's say this is one and you want to add any inbound rules. So there is options now. Okay, again I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, got it.
Yeah. So same thing you have to do inbound security rule. If you go to the outbound security rule, you have to add outbound security rule.
Yeah.
Hello. Outbound security. Hello. So the same things. It might be taking time.
Try again.
Okay, let's try. If it is taking time, then I will delete it and create new virtual machines. Or in that case, I will remove the NSG, delete the NSG. Let's do the jump box. Jump box is working fine, but this two machine is working, having problems. Okay, then I'll do network security groups. This I will delete it. cannot, there is network security cannot be deleted when it is used by subnet or network interface. Oh, it is actually created. How much time it will take, huh? Add okay, RDP port number. What is the RDP port number? Three 389. Okay. Now see, that's this machine is working or not. Still it is. Probably might be having some issues. Let it will be delete first. I'll make this delete. Then I'll create another machines. Because probably I have to create different machines for this load balancer. Yes. Because as it is taking time to update, because I do not have that much of time. So that's why I have to delete these machines. Create new machines. So let it be delete this, and again I'm creating a machine, virtual machines. Add. So is this here the practical? I'm telling what we want to create. We will have this options. Let's say guys, if you you already know that generally whenever any festivals offers on our e-commerce site, like say Amazon, Flipkart, Great Indian Festivals, any kind of festivals happen. So these are the sites are getting huge traffics, huge load, because many part of the world's people will connect that sites, try to do some shoppings, let's say Windows shoppings, normal shoppings, anything else. While you are hitting the sites, so it will be a kind of loads, right? You are visiting the sites. So how they manage their loads? the best they manage their load through load balancers. So now we also will do the same things whenever we'll tell you the web apps. So web apps, that part will understand the traffic managers, that part. So as of now, we introduced the new concept Microsoft Azure involved is the load balancer. Basically, load balancers are network devices. On premises, it's managed by the network teams. Okay. So in here, cloud, being administrator, you have to know that load balancer. Okay. So the load balancer, generally you have the web servers 1 and web server 2. Now generally peoples are connect any of the web server at a time, and huge load, sometimes web server will not work and may be crashed. To avoid this scenario, what will happen in middle of that, the load balancer comes into the pictures. So now this, let's say this is a web server 1, web 01, and this is web 02, right? Now web 01 and 02, you are not supposed to take these sites directly, because your traffic will be a reach on this load balancer public IP address. This load balancer, let's say public IP is 20.10.39.10, right? So now whenever you will reach, your traffic will come and hit this particular IP address. Now it is on hit, he will regulate a report and understand which servers having less load, he will forward this traffic to that particular servers. Now any of the servers is crashed, okay? Now he's saying that this server having huge load, but he also checking this server is not in the range, because there is the options in load balancer, it's called the health probes. I'll tell you here, I will just show you. The health probe will always check the server health every frequent of times. You mentioned the time there. So now health probe detects that this particular servers were not reaching fine, not reachable. So in that case, he will not forward the traffic to this particular server, he will forward the traffic to this particular servers. This is called the load balancer. So now what we do, we need to first will create 2 virtual machines. We'll install the IIS role, 2 VM, next IIS role. After that, configure LB, install LB, and then configure LB. Clear? Perfect. Any doubt?
No.
Okay. So let's see that my virtual machine has been deleted or not. Exactly, all machine has been deleted. So let's create, and this time we must have to select the virtual machine as availability sets. So RG1 web -01 S2S availability set AVL Windows Server 2012 root admin password oh my god. Now here inbound port I will select RDP, STP, HTTPS. Okay. Next, disk whatever it is, no matter, RG1. Let's say I will create new VNet. Okay, I'll not use this VNet, so probably I'll delete this one. I'll use VNet 2 range 192.168.10.1 0 slash 24. Okay. Subnet 192.168.10.0/16. Subnet name is sub1 192.168.10.0 slash 24. It will be 16. Perfect. Let's go to the next, advanced tags and create. Same ways, create another virtual machines. RG1 virtual machine names. Do one things. Before this, I'm just going to delete this VMNet virtual machine VMNet RG VMNet. This part I'm going to delete this. It is there. Subnet, default subnet. Delete this because NSG is there created. That is why it's not allowed to delete. Okay, no problem. VMNet 2 is created, fine. So I'm creating another machine as well, but while create the virtual machine we have to alert that my VMNet should be difference. RG1 sorry, web 2 instead of arginate 1 I will do vinet 2. Yes, that is the main concern. So let's everything is all right. So let's web 01 I have to connect it. Let's see. Yeah, it's connecting. Perfect. Perfectly it's working, no problem. Fine. So now what happened? I'll just install the IIS role first here. So guys, it is clear now. Anything you need to understand not clear, let me know. So let it installed, no problem. Meanwhile, another machines I have to go. Perfect. Same as I have installed IIS role here. Perfect. So as my VM01 is already installed as, so now I'm telling you guys, if I supposed to be, inet pubs, www root and is. Okay. So I'm just what I need to do, I'll just edit, open with notepad. I'm deleting everything. Just this is my connected from which machine I'm connected? Postman Web01 connected from Web01. Okay, click on save. Now if you just do this public IP address of this particular machines, let's if you try it here, you will get this IP address. You will see that connected from Web01, right? That means website is launching fine. So the same ways I will install these machines. Is that clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Connected from web-2. Click on save. So if I go to these machines, this IP address will show from web server 2, right? That means individual level the website is working fine. Now I want that no one can connect my web server directly. They will have to connect via load balancer. Now load balancer will distribute the load, and even one of my web server, its power off or maybe not working, it will be redirect traffic to web server 1. Clear? Even the certain time interval, it will also change the load as well. So that is why I am created two different websites with two different names, so that it will be understand for you. Okay. So now I am just going to create load balancing service. Load balancers. Add load balancer. Same resource groups. RG1. Name LV1 is to us. Actually I am now doing load balancing on public networks. Next day I will tell you how the load balancer works in the internal. It's nothing. Publicly means through here, without using any another virtual machine, you are taking this RDP or load balancing. But internal means it will not, load balancer cannot be worked on publicly. Inside of another VM you have to doing this. So I'll tell you next day, no problem. So in public, I'm selecting the public, basic or standard, it's there. Just SQ I'm using basics. Okay. So now what is the difference between basic and standard? There's the options there. Choose the standard load balancer up to 1000 instances, greater backend pools, flexibility is HA port. So in that case you can choose the standard, no problems. The cost will be high actually. Okay. So standard load balancer is a secure by default. This means network security groups used explicitly permit and whitelist allowed traffic. So better to use that basic one, no problem. public IP address name. Let's say I'll make it PIP name. PIP. It's a dynamic IP assignment. It's dynamic. Next tags. Next tags. And create. Now it's required a couple of minutes.
Now deployment is complete.
Now very fast because they have changes everything, man. Perfect. So go to resources. This is my LD. Now this thing is that the LB is right now empty. Okay. So these are the 4 options: load balancing rule, health probes, backend pool, and front-end IP configurations. So I can see the front-end IP configuration already there. So you no need to do anything else. Click on cancel. Next is backend pool. Okay. So in backend pool is what it will actually backendly you have to connect it the server name. Okay. So it's asking the backend pool. So I can put it back. Let's say back. Virtual networks. I'm selecting VNet 2. And here I have to select virtual machines. Okay. Now I am adding the virtual machine one by one. So here I have 2 virtual machine. I am adding it. Okay. So these 2 machines, these are added to the LB backend pool, and they are all in availability sets. Perfect. The 2 machine has been added in the backend pools. Now I am going to create the health probes. Basically, health probes is actually changing this server health, synchronizing each other. So make it on health. It is work on TCP/IP model. Okay. So either you can provide the TCP or HTTP as per your choice. So better whatever, leave it. Number. In interval every 5 minutes, unhealthy threshold to consecutive failure. If you want to change this, you can change this here, or else keep it okay. Next is load balancing rule. Okay. So here load balancing rule right now, this option, load results. Okay, so let's, yeah. Now as you see, that add option is enabled for me because many problem in their networks. Okay, so LB rule, front-end IP address, this is the null front-end TCP IP port, this one, backend port 80 back to virtual machines. Okay, healthy tip like that, session persistence, whatever it is, leave it, no matter. and this is 4 minutes interval. This is the lowest, you cannot change it, right? So 4 minutes you have to wait, you know, or else let's say 4 minutes, if it is not getting response, it will be showing timeout. So that's it, fine, leave it for floating IP address. The float without floating IP, Azure exposes a traditional load balancing IP address mapping scheme for each of use the VM instances IP. Enabling floating IP changes the IP address mapping to the front-end IP of load balancer, allow for additional flexibility. No need, click on OK. Now inbound NAT rules. Right now I think it is not required because we are using the basic load balancer.
If you want to use floating IP address, then you have to NAT.
Generally, because in case if you use the NATing part, that you can do, but normally we not required it. Now if we just go to the overview of LB1, this particular IP address, if we copy it, hopefully if everything is all right, it will open a page. Now which page will open, it will decide by load balancer. Okay, so I'm cancelling this part, opening this one. Now you supposed to declare this IP address or create the DNS with web server names with this IP address. Never you share any web server private public individual address to anyone. You have to share with load balancer IP. Now load balancer first connecting to which server? Connected to web02. Okay, so we have to wait for 4 minutes. Then after that it will be connected to 4001. It will be up to 4 minutes you have to wait. So you have to wait for 4 minutes. Do one thing, I'm powering off these two machines, number 2 machines. Okay, let's see what will happen. Stop it. The machine is going to stop then what will happen? Probably this machine is not work, so I'm just going to next. Now see, it is automatically changed. Clear? Is that clear? Hello? Hello? So is that clear, guys? Okay. Now the virtual machine server 2 I have stopped. It will automatically change to web server 1. So this is actually public load balancer basic model. Next week I will tell you the load balancers standard model practicals and try to cover this internal as well. This is the public load balancer I'll try to cover, and then probably I'll try to move on this, because network part we already know this basic VNet pairing, and then we'll know express routing. Express routing means P2S, point to site, site to site to sites, and then we know load balancing, network security groups, right? We did network security to practicals, right? We know LB as well. So probably next week I will tell you the load balancing rest of the features and try one or more two practicals on that. I'll move to storage parts, and then backup parts, then AD, then app service. Course is finished.
Inside this, Kubernetes and containers are applicable or not?
No, that is different things. Kubernetes, Docker, see in Azure, ample amount of services there, like Terraforms, like data lakes, like AI.
Okay.
Like
It's related to big data, correct?
It's totally different, because nowadays all application integrated with Azure. Which one you need to learn, right? This is different skill sets. Here it is only for the administrations. Whatever the needs it's required, we'll provide the training over here. Now next part is architect, then security and Office 365, which is the career part actually. Okay. Yeah. So guys, I'm ending my session. I will send that video to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any concern?
No.
Okay. So Saurav, any are you want to talk anything?
Saurabh voice is not clear.
Yeah, its voice is not clear. That's it.